Welcome back, everybody, to Rain on Your Parade with J-L Cauvin. I'm J-L Cauvin here, as always, with producer Mike. Hi, producer Mike.
Hi, everybody. Hi, JL. I'm out of the frame. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I don't know why I feel tired on this week's episode. It's almost like I'm doing a second episode back to back. But I think that just knowing the audience is going to be watching this and downloading it in record numbers is going to lift my spirits.
Yeah.
Just for everybody to know, shows, I'll just get, because this is, might only do one break on this one.
Yeah. I don't even see a reason to, I think we just go straight through. Why not?
Maybe one break just for,
okay.
Create tension, let the ads play.
Okay.
But, as far as stuff coming up, everybody, obviously, I hope you've watched, and will review Half Blackface on Amazon Prime. And as I said, on the last couple episodes, the album version is now 100% owned by me, which it wasn't before. So now any purchase or gifting or downloading or streaming of Half Blackface on wherever you listen to music will go in my pocket entirely. And, it's my best work. I think that set remains my best set of my life. And, I'd love for as many people to buy it, and download it as possible. So thank you in advance. As far as shows coming up, this big one, September 28th for all my New Jersey people. It's a live Making Podcasts Great Again in Rutherford, New Jersey. Tickets available on my website. After that, Making Podcasts Great Again show, October 11th in New York City at the Triad Theater. Then I'm in Chicago for 2 shows, a Trump show and a stand-up show, October 18th and 19th. Emporia, Virginia, October 30th. Princeton, New Jersey, November 7th and 8th. The first shows after the election, so I'll be very in demand at that point. And other stuff on the calendar, but yeah, go check out jlcomedy.com for everything I do and support as much of it as you can. Appreciate it. Now, Mike and I have talked in jest for some episodes where I will say, oh, that's got to be a top 5 performance for me. And Mike will laugh and say, feels like there's 30 performances in your top 5, or,
yes,
your top 25 is going to consist of The Godfather and Steve Coogan. And he's not far off. But I decided for this episode, can I give him a peek behind the curtain?
Yeah.
I'm wearing the shirt I wore 2 weeks ago because I'm recording this 2 weeks ago. I am talking to you from the past. And this is an evergreen episode, as they like to say, because I'm on my way back from St. Paul, Minnesota, where I saw anywhere between 2 and 5 of you, let's be honest. Probably mostly strangers coming to the show to enjoy great comedy in the Twin Cities. But so this is an evergreen one, but I thought perfect time to finally, not just hypothetically tell Mike, oh, one of my favorites, and just give him the list.
Yeah.
So for all you movie lovers, this is for you, but also for the people who love my show generally and don't want to screw us on the algorithm. Keep listening and watching. So, Mike, I had to do 25.
Okay.
Couldn't limit it to 20.
Yeah.
There were going to be some real big omissions if I went to 20. But I want to give you my just missed the list first.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Just for clarity, this is for the performances.
My favorite performances. It's not
of all time.
Of all time.
So your favorite, not the best.
Not the best.
Okay.
But you'll see a lot of these are the best.
Okay. All right.
But my favorite. Okay. Because best, and the thing I will say here, which is very telling, the list skews towards comedy.
Okay.
It's not entirely comedy, but I think that just goes to show you that there's such a disconnect between award seasons and comedies, where it's like, oh, it's funny, we like it, but no, you're not the best.
Not getting the recognition.
And it made me really think coming up with this list. I'm like, yeah, a majority of my favorite performances are comedy.
Right.
So, okay. And if I left off anything, feel free to mention like this didn't make it.
Yeah,
or
I'm gonna take a note. Yeah.
Great.
I'm gonna keep the list.
But these are the just missed. These are the just missed. Getting others receiving votes.
Mm-hmm.
Christopher McDonald, Shooter McGavin.
Excellent.
Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
Didn't make the list.
One of the great villain performances in any comedy of all time.
Yes.
Probably, maybe, arguably
top tier,
the best. Yeah.
Top tier. Might be the Hannibal Lecter of sports. Is the Hannibal Lecter of sports comedies.
Yeah.
William H. Macy, Fargo.
Okay.
To me, it's a good performance when your entire career is forced to be that performance.
Right.
And I just realized I left one off that I actually will have to cancel somebody on the main list. I just remembered one. Paul Bettany, A Knight's Tale. Did you ever see A Knight's Tale?
Yeah, that would not have crossed
I didn't
my
think
mind.
so.
Yeah.
Paul Bettany was so good in that movie as Chaucer
Yes.
that when he ended up marrying Jennifer Connelly, I was like, you know what? I'm okay with that. The same way Billy Joel looking like Mike Ehrmantraut from Breaking Bad. The fact that he was with Christy Brinkley, I don't mind because he had talent. He wasn't a troll investment banker. He was a troll world-class artist. No, and I think that matters.
Well, Bettany's a great actor for sure.
But this was, I don't know what else he did before this, but this is 24 years ago already, A Knight's Tale, or 23 years ago, I forget. 24, I believe. But that was his introduction to me, and it's still my favorite Paul Bettany performance.
Sure.
Mike Myers, Dr. Evil. It may be hacky now or whatever. One of the funniest things ever.
Really, really funny.
And when I found out he was modeling the voice, this might be apocryphal, but I think he was modeling the voice after Lorne Michaels.
So the rumor is he stole Dana Carvey's Lorne Michaels impression. And that's why they had friction forever.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it is Lorne Michaels, but it's like Dana. It'd be like if I was doing your Trump.
Wow.
And I got famous and it was in a movie and you were just like, he's just doing my Trump.
I feel like that could happen. That would happen to me.
But you know what I mean? It's like if
wow.
I stole one of your impressions and called it mine.
Hello, Scott.
Yeah.
But,
very good though. Very
Laura
funny.
gave me that one.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's because we laugh about that still.
Yeah.
Only real modern one here. Mia Goth, Pearl. But you could count her work in that trilogy, X, Pearl, Maxine, but Pearl was my favorite, and I think she should have won Best Actress, and she wasn't even nominated last year.
Okay.
Have you seen any of those movies? No. Great. They're great. Matt Dillon, There's Something About Mary.
That's good.
Yeah.
Great movie.
And then I just wrote down one name because there wasn't any performance, but he's not on this list. Well, who do you think that name is?
It's not a particular performance, but he's not.
But he didn't make the list, but it's just I have to mention him on a movie.
All right. So I'll give you this name because there's somebody that I think is not going to be on this list who I think is going to be a horrible omission. Is Gene Wilder on your list at all?
Gene Wilder.
And is he, if not, is he this name?
He's not, but... And this is the problem with this because I was going through the different things. I will just throw out, let's put him, because I have to put one person actually on the list and erase somebody and you won't know who that is.
Okay.
I will let you know who the person I'm adding in. But Young Frankenstein, Gene Wilder, was a very late scratch.
I mean, you think that's his best performance?
Hey, it's what's my favorite.
Oh, that's right. Fair enough. Okay. That's fair.
And
I would have put Gene Wilder, the producers, or Gene Wilder, Blazing Saddles. He is very funny.
Yeah, but to
very
me,
funny.
But for me, it's Young Frankenstein.
Okay,
because it's pronounced Frankenstein. Always gets a laugh out of me. I think his facial work in that movie is so good. His energy, and then putting on the Ritz is one of the 10
iconic,
funniest things I've ever seen.
Yeah. Also, he wrote, I believe he wrote the movie or co-wrote it with Mel Brooks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Gene Wilder, yes, dessert is definitely in the, I forgot to add him because I had him on the list and I was like,
okay,
I kind of want to put some, and there's different criteria for people on the list, but they all end up being my favorites. Tom Cruise. Because there's just generally, I feel like I have to mention him because there is no one. If this were my favorite movie stars, favorite actors, he makes top tier on both of those lists.
Yeah.
But as a performance, there's no Tom Cruise listed here. Okay. So number 25.
Okay.
In some of these, you may not know. Erica Eleniak, Under Siege.
No, I didn't have that one
now
on the list.
I saw this movie.
Is that she pops out of the cake? I'm thinking of that right movie, right? What a horrible movie.
But here's the thing that you have to realize, and yes, a couple of these choices are well-timed jokes.
Okay.
Erika Eleniak in Under Siege, for me and my 15-year-old friends at the theater watching a Steven Seagal movie, which, by the way, got good reviews as an action movie.
Oh, I think it's supposed to be his best movie. Right?
Yes.
That's so ridiculous.
And
It's so bad.
you're just watching the movie, and then you realize, oh, there's a humongous titted Playboy Playmate who was in the cake.
Yes.
Who was drugged and then bursts out for the requisite 80s, 90s topless scene.
Yes, the obligatory.
So Erika Eleniak, you probably didn't expect to make this list, but congratulations. 25. You beat out Gene Wilder, Shooter McGavin, William H. Macy.
Good Lord.
Now, number 24 is a beloved actor, and my favorite performance of his, he didn't even get nominated for the Oscar, and that shocked me. Tom Hanks, Captain Phillips.
Okay.
I think it's his best work, regardless of whether his Boston accent was good or mediocre. I thought it was his best performance of his substantial, amazing career.
Really?
Yes, I love Captain Phillips, and I thought it was I thought he was so good in Captain Phillips, and then like his PTSD.
Castaway?
Yeah, his PTSD shit at the end of Captain Phillips was like, oh, wow, Tom Hanks is going for it. Okay. Number 23, Bill Paxton, Aliens.
Yeah, he's good in that. He is.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
Died way too young.
Unfortunately,
61.
Yeah, he was young.
Man. And he was just...
Right after Big Love.
Right. And I think it was James Cameron who I think he had once said, like, James Cameron basically like, kept him employed until he kind of branched out into bigger things.
Because to that, Titanic.
He was in The Terminator. He's one of the guys that Schwarzenegger stabs in the beginning.
Yeah, you're right.
Like with the punk guys. He's in like...
I forgot about that. Yeah.
True Lies. Great kind of cameo comedic performance in True Lies, which I think is Arnold Schwartz. I think you can argue that True Lies is Arnold's best movie. I'm fine if you say no, but I think I would not tell somebody they're wrong because True Lies is
Terminator.
Terminator 2 is probably going to be...
Terminator 1 is like his...
Yeah.
That's probably the best movie he's in.
But True Lies...
And also Predator. Predator is a fucking great movie.
Yeah. And
he's good in it.
Sure. But True Lies is like... And I will say this, and she didn't make the list either, but she may have... Maybe she has a case. Jamie Lee Curtis in True Lies.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why, and I think you know why. It's the... You know what, Jamie Lee Curtis, you're getting the just missed. I'm going to give you the official just missed title. No one, maybe in Hollywood or porn history, has ever legitimately captured a geeky nerd loser to smoking hot transition where it was believable.
Yeah.
She really came off as like a boring, like plain Jane housewife, and she is hot as fuck.
Yeah.
Like when she it's great work by Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah.
Okay, so Bill Paxton. Now, the next choice, speaking of Jamie Lee Curtis, is our final woman on the list.
So soon.
Yeah. I mean, James Brown said it. It's a man's world. Joyce Heiser from Just One of the Guys.
All right.
Now, anybody who knows this movie knows exactly what I'm talking about. She plays a reporter who goes undercover in high school.
This is an 80s movie, right?
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
On HBO all the time.
Yeah.
There's something about seeing a topless woman 40 times because HBO never stops running this PG-13 movie for like years of my life that embeds it as one of the great performances. So it's a fun movie. William Zabka is in it. He's Cobra Kai, the bad guy. Well, the bad guy from Karate Kid, Johnny Lawrence. He's in it. So that's like his trilogy. School. What was the one with Back to School?
Yes.
Karate Kid, Just One of the Guys. That's his 80s villain trilogy. But at the end of the movie, when you're done watching this fun 80s movie, she's in love with some guy who thinks she's a he because she's presenting as a he the whole movie. And he goes, she confesses to him and he goes, "What?"
I know this scene. Yeah.
And then she
Rips
pops open her tux and reveals just something glorious for a 9 to 11-year-old JL to see repeatedly on HBO. So Joyce Heiser, you're the highest ranking woman on my favorite performances. So congratulations. A tip of the bra to you. Now we can get down to business.
Got it.
21. Andy Serkis, The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Gollum. The only quasi-animated or animated choice on this list. It's one of those performances, much like Robin Williams in Aladdin, where like Oscar voters were like, can we nominate this for an acting award?
Yeah.
And they eventually chose not to. But I think Andy Serkis one day will get a Lifetime Achievement Award, especially as technology becomes more and more part of movies.
He's like famously the guy that puts on all the fucking balls and does the green screen stuff.
Right.
He did it for Planet of the Apes.
He's Caesar in Planet of the Apes. He's King Kong in Peter Jackson's King Kong.
I forgot about that. Right.
And he's most notably Gollum / Smeagol in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
So 21. Now 20 is an acting legend. And he's had maybe bigger, better movies or whatever, but I put him on the list here. Al Pacino. Do you know what movie? Can you guess what movie?
Yeah, you're going to say The Insider.
No.
Not
for him.
What's your favorite Russell Crowe performance?
No. But somebody from that movie did make the list, and it's neither of those two. Heat.
Oh, okay, sure.
And now this isn't because I think it's his best.
Yeah, but it's the most
because
Pacino.
It's my favorite.
Yeah, it's the most Pacino for sure. Yeah.
What's the guy she's sleeping with, his wife, when he goes, I think it's Ted? Whatever. Well, the scene where he says, you can sit in my ex-husband's dead tech bullshit house, but you cannot watch my fucking TV. And he takes his like 8-inch portable TV.
He's on 10 in that movie.
He is on 11. It is the basis for every Pacino impression since 1990.
I'm sorry, the goddamn chicken is cold.
I mean, it's my favorite Pacino performance.
Yeah.
I think it's good enough that I really like it on its merits, but it's also so over the top that I love it.
It just makes Heat so much more fun too, and easy to watch over.
Oh my God! Give me what you got.
Yeah,
give me what you.
She got a great ass.
Hank Azaria was not ready for that energy.
Yeah.
And you got your head all the way up it.
All the way up it, yeah.
I'm sorry. When I think of asses, something comes over me. All the way up it. I love, my favorite is at the end when he's leaving and he's basically given up that he's lost.
Yeah.
He's leaving the station. They shut down our wire. We're done. And and somebody goes, what? Somebody's like, but boss, what? And he goes, what do you got? And he goes, bon voyage. You were good, motherfucker. And
we just been made. They looking at the LAPD.
Police department. That's the worst part of that line. The LAPD police department. That's like saying ATM machine. Detective Vincent Hanna. So Al Pacino, Heat, great actor.
Yeah.
This is one I chose because as much as that's not my favorite performance, like I don't think it's his best, and it's not, even though I love Heat, it's not my favorite Al Pacino movie.
Yeah.
But that's my favorite Pacino performance.
Okay.
Now, number 19 is another one from my childhood that has stayed with me. Morgan Freeman, Lean on Me as Joe Clark. East Side High. Okay. Now that I live near Patterson, New Jersey, I feel extra close.
So sorry to hear that.
Oh, far enough away. But no, that was for a time in my youth, like one of my favorite. It's I still think it's a fine movie, but it was like one of my favorite movies. Mm-hmm. Great soundtrack also. Welcome to the Jungle. While there's just gang fights happening in the beginning. Nothing really to say there. Now I'm actually going to swap out number 18. Instead of bumping them down because that would cause much.
Complete swap out.
And
I'm not going to know who.
I'll tell you who it was.
Okay.
John Malkovich in The Line of Fire.
Okay. I don't think I've ever seen that.
Clint Eastwood as a Secret Service. You should see. It's a great movie. it was one of those, he was nominated for Best Supporting Actor for it, but it was a summer movie. But that was back when we made summer movies. Like summer movies could be great movies also. Like same summer, The Fugitive and In the Line of Fire came out.
Right.
Those now would be like November because we want an Oscar campaign, but they would put good shit out in July and August.
Yeah.
Not just money makers. I'm swapping him out though. No disrespect, John Malkovich, but I'm swapping him out because I was reminded Samuel L. Jackson, Pulp Fiction. That's who's getting that spot.
Okay.
Because much like William H. Macy, that's what kind of reminded me of it. When you're so good in a role that then you have to play that character for the next decade, that may dilute your later work, but Pulp Fiction was phenomenal, and he should have won the Oscar for that. No disrespect, Martin Landau for Ed Wood, but no. So do you have any thoughts while I give the people a breather?
Where are we at right now? 18?
We just did 18.
So far, I'm not really shocked by any of this stuff. That Pacino performance I figured might have been lower, but no real shocks yet. Nothing that you've said that sounds crazy, based on what I know about you. To be honest, I think that we're going to have problems once I know who is actually left off. And I'm making my list.
The next 5 are probably going to shock the absolute shit out of you.
Let's hear it.
Part of it. Okay. Now, number 17, who I think I may have mentioned last week or 3 weeks ago to you. Jack Nicholson, A Few Good Men.
Not shocking.
Okay. And obviously that's another actor with a lot of great movies and but I'm not going to sit here. If I were an acting teacher, maybe I'd be like Chinatown.
Yeah.
Incredible. No, A Few Good Men. It's heat. He's throwing heat.
Yeah.
It's Jack Nicholson before he's gone full blown. I'm just going to be Jack Nicholson in every movie.
Yeah.
He's still giving it. And what I learned about that performance was that Kevin Bacon, I think, said this, that Jack Nicholson, you can leave, when his scenes are done, they can have a stand-in, just sit there and read the lines for the other angle. He stayed and did he gave it every time. He was giving you, Lieutenant Weinberg. Like he gave it to everybody.
Actors consider it disrespectful if you have a stand-in. So there's a famous story about, I forget the actor's name, but there was
but I guess people do that for other takes and stuff.
Maybe a little more modern, but
I'm just saying for Kevin Bacon or whoever brought it up to bring it up as that was really cool. Maybe it was just because Jack Nicholson is such
a star,
a huge star. Yeah. And in his still in his prime.
Because there's this story that I do forget the actor's name, but on the waterfront, that scene with
Marlon
Brando and the other actor,
Lee J. Cobb.
Yeah, maybe that was
he was
him.
the bad guy, like the boss.
His
in
brother.
Movie?
The guy who played his brother.
Oh no,
I forget.
That was like the union guy. Like, okay, never mind.
But that scene in the back of the cab,
yeah,
when they're you don't understand, yeah. Apparently,
that's what I say to Laura every 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently they shot Brando's coverage first, and then when it was time to shoot his, so this guy was there for Brando's coverage, and then Brando left, and he took major offense to it that Brando didn't stay to let him kind of act to him,
and he had a Native American woman sit in his place.
Yeah, right. That's right.
I love that story, by the way, when that John Wayne, piece of shit that he was, wanted to go out and physically remove that woman.
I know, it's so nuts.
Like John Wayne was a piece of shit.
Get that Comanche off the stage.
Okay. Now, number 16, The Insider, a movie you just mentioned.
Yeah.
Christopher Plummer as Mike Wallace.
Oh, so Christopher Plummer makes the list.
He does make the list.
Yeah.
And this, once again, sticks out in my mind because I absolutely loved his performance in this movie. Loved it.
Yeah.
And he didn't get nominated because they did that thing where Pacino got the supporting actor nomination, Crowe got the lead actor, and then Plummer was basically left off.
Yeah.
Whereas Pacino was almost a co-lead.
Yeah.
And Plummer was the clear, it was Christopher Plummer. It was so good. He was so good as Mike Wallace. And not because he was we often too much give credit to people doing impersonations of actors. He wasn't trying to sound like Mike Wallace. He was Mike Wallace and he interpreted the part and he was phenomenal.
Yeah.
So he's number 16. Now, right above him, Oscar winner, Christopher Plummer, R.I.P. James Franco, The Interview.
Interesting. That one's a surprise.
That's why I did if people could see it, that's why I did a step back.
Yeah.
I was hoping more for a what the fuck, but yeah,
I've never seen that movie. I don't know if is it any good?
I love it.
Yeah.
Now, this was the movie, of course, that got hacked. That caused North Korea to hack Sony.
Yeah.
Because they were very upset about the movie is basically about it's a comedy about a plot to assassinate Kim Jong-un.
Yes.
And I was working that day. It came out when they released it. They released it on YouTube pay-per-view and stuff and some platforms. I was like, I'm going home to watch this immediately because it had been in the news. So I was really interested in it. I was like, oh, awesome. I'll watch it. I'll be on the right side of freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was hilarious. And I know a lot of people have said think it stinks. I think it's hilarious. And I think James Franco I love it when I see an actor who maybe doesn't do all comedy go all in on I thought he was so funny in this movie. It still stands out to me as just more so than any Seth Rogen performance or anything like that. Him in the interview, I love.
Yeah.
Love.
Okay.
Number 14. We just mentioned this guy a minute ago. Marlon Brando, The Godfather.
Okay.
Okay.
At some point, they were going to have to start making an appearance.
Mm-hmm. Marlon Brando, The Godfather. People can talk all about all the other performances, but and obviously the loaded cast in The Godfather.
Yeah.
But that's, he's so great.
Yeah.
He's so iconic. It's perfect as far as I'm concerned.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not the only person on the list from the Godfather saga.
Okay. Do you want me to take? I won't guess it because in case where are they on the list?
Right above Marlon Brando.
It's the next person.
The next person.
Can I guess it?
Yeah,
it's got to be Khan.
G.D. Spradlin, Senator Pat Geary, The Godfather 2.
Okay.
Yeah. I knew that would I set it up to get the laugh from you. Yes.
Oh my God. That is so funny.
Senator Corleone. G.D. Spradlin as Senator Pat Geary, because in his limited
I want
time,
your answer and the money by tomorrow.
It's very tough for somebody to do basically 3 scenes and only one of them is really the eligible scene.
Yeah.
But his conversation with Michael Corleone, because this is Al Pacino at his steely, now he's just cold killer Michael Corleone. And G.D. Spradlin, he gets his eventually.
Yeah. This girl had no family.
Oh, man. Look at my friend, my brother Michael owns this club. Very fortunate for you, Senator. The way to do a young Robert Duvall impression is, I'm running out of breath and I'm slightly constipated. And my brother Michael runs this club. Very fortunate for you, Senator. Now, actually, he doesn't even get his. The hooker he's sleeping with gets hers.
Yes, this poor girl.
And he gets to live as long as he does the right thing.
Right.
Pretty nice life to be a senator.
Yeah.
It's the worst thing, if you don't play ball, we'll kill someone else.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sounds good to me. But the conversation he's having with Michael, where Pacino is coming out of the gates, with heat, this is now my movie. It's not Marlon Brando's movie. Right. I'm the guy. The way he deals with him in that conversation, because I rewatched it recently.
Yeah.
And he's so good. Do I have him above Marlon Brando partly as a joke? Yes. Yeah. But I do love him in that movie.
Senator, you can have my offer now.
He's so, it is such a fascinating kind of look though at the confidence of political power, how powerful he is, that he's sitting next to a murdering mob boss and is like, Corleone.
Corleone. That's why it's the best movie of all time.
Second best Godfather. But in a tribute to you, somebody from Godfather 2 has the highest.
I love that
ranking.
Yeah.
G.D. Spradlin, Senator Pat Geary. He's thrilled, by the way, if he's still alive, which I don't think he is.
Can't be.
His estate.
He was old in the 70s.
Yeah. His estate is overwhelmed by this honor, though.
Yeah.
Well deserved, though. Number 12 is a guy you love, but it's not a movie you're thinking of. And I did rewatch Beverly Hills Cop 1 and 2 this weekend.
You know what? I have this on my list. I'm going to take a swing. It's got to be Eddie Murphy.
It is Eddie Murphy.
Is it the Nutty Professor?
No.
Oh,
That's okay. It's not a bad choice, but this is very particular to me. This is like this is not one of Eddie Murphy's biggest movies.
not one of his biggest movies?
No. It's known. You probably know it. I don't think you're going to guess it unless you just scroll through his movies.
Boomerang?
No.
Oh.
But this is a movie that I think he's great in. I watched Beverly Hills Cop 1 and 2, by the way.
Yeah.
And it's not that they're bad, either one, but they are so time capsule locked in as 80s movies.
They are a little bit.
They are.
In fairness.
You can't. That's what I was afraid of, is it's like, I'm not going to sit here and go, those movies suck.
Yeah.
No. They're of a time.
Yeah.
But they are definitely of that time.
Yeah. I still think they're great despite that.
I think I might have liked one better, though.
I think 1 and 2 are both good.
Yeah.
I think, but people say, they talk about 2 as like, well, that's one of the few rare sequels where it's as good as the first, maybe better, you know?
The Distinguished Gentleman.
I've never even heard of that.
Yeah. It made like 60 mil. He was still box office draw, but this was like a lower.
This was peak Eddie?
Mover. This is like 1994
Holy
or 95.
Shit. Is it a comedy?
Yeah, it's a political comedy. Basically, the gist of it is he is a guy who's, I forget what he even does. He's like a hustler.
Okay.
And he's got his little crew. In his crew, by the way, is the woman who won the Emmy for Abbott Elementary, Cheryl Lee Ralph.
Okay.
And I remember when I saw her on Abbott Elementary in the pilot, I said, I think that's the one from The Distinguished Gentleman, which was 30 years earlier or whatever. Maybe 93 even. Might be 93.
Yeah.
But he's a hustler. But then his congressman dies while humping, an escort.
Yeah.
Like he's married, but he's humping an escort. And you'll also, and while I'm thinking of humping an escort, the one other omission, because I couldn't decide between two performances, but Gene Hackman did not make the list.
He didn't. I have him. I literally have
the
him.
Birdcage, right?
Oh, yeah.
I know. And that was one because I almost did a vote split in my own head.
Yeah.
Even though I could have just picked one, I almost vote split.
I can't believe
a
he
couple
didn't
of his
make it.
performances. I know. But I went through.
Is there a Birdcage on the list?
No.
Oh.
I know.
That's like heresy.
And Robin Williams was a late scratch as well. But I had him for Dead Poets Society. But that's more of because I love that movie
Robin
so
Williams
much.
is literally another name on this list.
But no, and those were tough because Hackman, I almost was going to throw you off and put Gene Hackman, The Runaway Jury.
Which I wouldn't have gotten.
Right.
Yeah.
But he's so good. It's almost more fun when it's like Gene Hackman for a brief time was almost in his like glorified Russell Crowe days where it's like, I'm taking the check and doing some big budget movies that I don't have to like do too much.
Like
but I'm
Welcome
still
to Mooseport. Those types of movies. That was his last movie, I think.
Really?
I think so.
The Runaway Jury, he is great in The Runaway Jury.
Yeah.
He's like the evil jury consultant.
Okay.
But he has this phenomenal scene with Dustin Hoffman, and who's another obviously just great actor.
Yeah.
But Hackman didn't make the list, and I'm sad to say. And Eddie Murphy, the Distinguished Gentleman, though, basically, he plays a hustler whose congressman dies. And then the congressman's name is Jeff Johnson. Okay. Eddie Murphy's name is Thomas Jefferson Johnson. So they realize nobody gives a fuck who your congressman is. We shorten my name, Thomas Jefferson, just Jefferson, short Jeff Johnson. And our tagline is the name you know. So he's running for Congress as Jeff Johnson. He's not lying, but everybody's just like, oh yeah, Jeff Johnson. He wins a seat in Congress. And it's just, I think it's a very funny movie. I think it ages beautifully because the more you know about politics, the more you realize this movie kind of hit it on the nose.
Yeah.
And he does a thing in the movie that I was reminded of when I watched Beverly Hills Cop 2, when he's talking to Jürgen Prochnow and Brigitte Nelson at like the Playboy Mansion or whatever. And he goes, this man kills cops.
Yeah.
That
classic Eddie move. Yeah.
Yes. That, you know what I mean?
He's the fucking best.
He sells arms and he makes money killing cops.
Yeah.
I'm sorry you fucked up your party.
Yeah.
That move. Right. But that reminded me of what he says in The Distinguished Gentleman. He does that move on like one of the powerful people in the house when they unveil that he's corrupt. And I believe he does because he's going to jail. Like the way he said it, like seeing that in Beverly Hills Cop 2 reminded me.
I should see this movie. I didn't even know this existed. I love Eddie so much, man.
I can lend you The Distinguished Gentleman. I have it on DVD.
Well, I need a DVD player, but
okay.
Sorry.
Okay. I recommend it.
I'll try to find it.
And it's just a funny, and he gets to do his thing where he gets like a van and he goes through different neighborhoods. And this is like a holdover of the 80s, but he does different racial accents depending on the neighborhood.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know Jeff Johnson, the name you know. And it's like, hey man, you know Jeff Johnson? Vote for him.
Yeah.
But so it's got some cheesy throwback 80s stuff, but it's his comedies, whenever they get serious, they don't seem cheesy in the seriousness. You know, it's just like, yeah, he's a joker, but like this is a serious moment. And so Eddie Murphy makes the list, Distinguished Gentleman. We got 11 names left.
Okay.
And I'm going to let's do a break here.
Great.
Because now people are really either completely done with this episode or really invested.
Yeah.
So we'll be back after this quick word from our sponsors. And we're back, everybody. Mike, I know you didn't enjoy that break because you are really looking forward to this top 11.
It's the first time I thought that it was an unnecessary break to take.
Yeah, well, that's what we're doing. But now we're back. And people, get ready. Buckle up. Number 11.
Okay.
I can assure you this isn't even on this actor's family's list of favorite performances, but it's on mine. Will Forte, MacGruber.
Okay, yeah. I know you like MacGruber.
Will Forte and MacGruber.
It is a funny character. I mean, I always liked MacGruber on SNL.
No, and I'm telling you, I didn't.
Oh, really?
This character that he does for the movie is so on steroids and different.
Yeah,
it is. I think he's only at 11 because I felt self-conscious about putting him any higher. But MacGruber is so funny, but Will Forte in MacGruber is that funny.
Yeah.
It's insane. Like this movie is so good. Laura and I several years ago went to Alamo Drafthouse in Brooklyn for a MacGruber night because he was there with the director and they were doing like a theme, it was $25, but it was well worth it. But it was like, I realized sitting in that theater that, everybody in this theater has watched this movie 20 times like me.
Yeah.
Because we're all anticipating each scene. But Will Forte, MacGruber, I'm telling you, you haven't seen it, right?
I've seen it. So I think I told you I did start it, but I was watching it with a friend who had seen it like 100 times.
So he was just like,
yeah, he was just like jumping all the punchlines. It's just
Gotcha.
like, all right, well, fuck this.
Yeah. That's rough.
Yeah. But so I will watch it again at some point with fresh eyes, but I need some distance.
Okay.
From it,
understood.
But I have heard that it's like the funniest thing. So I understand.
And it's him. He's such a, I'll go there performance. If this were TV funny performances, this would be the spot reserved for Stevie Janowski from Eastbound and Down.
Right. Sure.
Like this is that slot. This is you might not think of him because it's not been seen by everybody, but anybody who's seen that guy work, you're like unbelievable in Eastbound and Down.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 10. Now we got a couple like legit heavyweights, if you will.
Okay.
In terms of their, gravitas movies. Russell Crowe, Gladiator.
Okay.
Recently rewatched it and I was like, I'm glad I rewatched it because that was a movie I watched so many times from like 2000 to 2005.
Yep.
And then it's on TV and you're like, oh yeah, I like this. And then I rewatched it and he's just great.
Yeah.
And it's badass with substance.
Yeah,
we have a lot of badass characters.
It's a great movie. Yeah.
But this is badass with substance.
Yep.
And, so good.
Yeah.
All right. So Russ Crowe. Now, number 9 comes from my favorite movie of all time, which I don't know if you know what it is. The movie is Amadeus.
Oh.
It is my favorite movie of all time.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Okay. And
that's surprising to me, actually.
And it's a movie that has been my favorite since I was 8. And it has hit me on every level.
Why?
Because the music, you're not doing better than Mozart.
Okay, sure.
But it is funny.
Yeah.
But it's also
It is a great movie.
It's funny, but it's like a period piece, but it's easy to follow without being simple.
Yeah.
The music is great, and it's this battle between, as I've joked on stage to the delight of no one, you think you're a Mozart, you realize you're a Salieri.
Mm-hmm.
That's sort of my life. And it just works. It's a movie that to me works on every level. Like as a kid, I loved it.
Yeah.
As an adult, I love it.
Yeah. It's a good movie.
Yeah. It's actually a great movie.
I haven't seen that in a while.
Now F. Murray Abraham won the Oscar for playing Salieri in the movie. But my choice is Tom Hulce. I'm going to give Tom Hulce his flowers for playing Amadeus.
Who did not have much of a career
Mozart.
after that.
Right. He was in Animal House. He was in Amadeus. He was in like this movie with Ray Liotta called Dominic and Eugene.
He also did a voice. I think he did the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Oh, like the Disney one?
He did one of the Disney voices. Yeah.
But Amadeus, it's as great an acting performance as F. Murray Abraham is. Tom Hulce was also nominated. They were both nominated for Best Lead Actor.
He's great in that movie.
And it's the laugh. It's the whole, he brings the comedy, but also like, it's a great movie. And Tom Hulce, you're getting your flowers. Number 8, John Travolta.
I knew there was one in there.
Saturday Night Fever.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah. And
that's excellent in that movie.
Right. It's a
so
good, it's a good performance, but it's like, this is on my list. I think his Marlon Brando, who could have an argument here, but when you talk iconic.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, it's a look, it's a time. He embodies not just a movie.
Yeah.
He was also nominated. He was 21 years old, I think, nominated for Best Lead Actor at the Oscars. But you got to be so good and so telegenic, charismatic to basically be the image when somebody describes the disco era.
Yeah, it's him.
Yep. Before, and then maybe it's Barry Gibb right after it, like 1B.
But they're combined, joined at the hip because it's the Bee Gees album.
Yes.
That he is on the cover of, essentially.
Yeah.
And that Saturday Night Fever album was like, I think the highest selling album until Thriller, maybe.
Yeah.
Or like the Eagles' greatest hits or something. Yeah.
It's, but Travolta, I mean, and it's in a time where we praise everybody for learning how to get ripped or box.
Yeah.
This dude
awesome.
became king of the fucking dance floor. Yep. This would be like if you just took some random actor and were like, I need you to be the new Michael Jackson just for this movie.
Yeah.
You don't have to be, but we're going to train you so much. You have to be whatever the new Michael Jackson is, that's what you're going to be.
Yeah.
And it's a great performance. It's a raw, like, it's a movie you could only get in the 70s, I think, where like the casual racism and the sexual assault.
They rape the
right.
Yeah.
But it's
not our hero, John Travolta, but the guys he's with.
By comparison, though, like the difference
he's in the car while it's happening.
The difference is John Travolta has some growth by the end of the movie, while his other friends are just waiting to get caught one day for drugs, rape, and racism.
Yeah.
But Travolta, it's just, that's, I think, probably
also,
the most.
I mean, we're saying all this stuff sort of after the fact, and I'm not a believer that movies have to be realistic necessarily. I think that's kind of like an oversight on what movies are.
Mm-hmm.
But my parents, having grown up there in that era, it is very true to what it was like there in that time. So, I mean, it's really an amazing
The 70s didn't mess around. They were just like, well, if this is how it is, we're not. Whereas like now, it'd be like, wow, they showed that. Yes, they showed it.
Yeah.
You're the one who's always left wing. You're the one always saying how horrible life is and how horrible people are to each other. Here's just the proof.
Yep.
And I loved it in the movie when he drops a bunch of slurs, but in defense of giving the Latin couple the award.
Yeah.
He's like, we beat up on the ba beat up on da.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, this is yours. You deserve it.
Yeah.
But iconic performance, and just, I'll never not want to watch that movie because
it's so good.
Because I know at some point You Should Be Dancing is coming on.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and the Bee Gees, I will tell you this, there's very few celebrities that will make me sadder than the day I learned that Barry Gibb has passed away.
Yeah.
Just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Number 7, everybody must know this is coming. Heath Ledger, The Dark Knight.
Okay. Was not on my list. But yes.
Yeah, it's almost, I've almost seen it too many times that it probably is lower than it would have been like 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But it's one of my favorite. It's one of my 5 favorite movies, and it needs representation. And obviously, that's going to be Heath Ledger as the Joker. Even though the Joker is apparently becoming the new way to get an Oscar.
Yeah,
in an odd way. He set a new trend.
Yeah, for sure.
But Heath Ledger, I don't think much more needs to be said. And now we're getting to a place. 5 of the last 6 are comedy.
Okay. So that you might be able to scratch some of the stuff off my list. Because most of the guys that I have on here that I think you could say or are going to be big whiffs if you forget, most of them are comedy performances. Many of them, at least.
Number 6. This is the one, and I'm sad to say he didn't make the top 5. Steve Coogan, Hamlet 2.
Okay.
To me, it is what I wish I could do.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of the high art version of what Paul Rudd did in I Love You, Man. Paul Rudd in I Love You, Man, who almost could have been, that would be my favorite Paul Rudd performance for what that's worth, is so good at being regular guy who's just 2% loser.
Yeah.
Like not a loser, but just like a little bit awkward, like trying to come up with nicknames. It's so like in that movie, he's so good at just being a little off cool.
Yeah.
That I'm like, that's so much harder to me than being like, I'm a big character.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm a regular person and I'm just finding the funny, the little 2% that I'm off by 2% that gives you all the humor.
Yeah.
Hamlet 2 is like one big movie of that to me. He is a loser who is kind of aware he's a loser, but not fully. Like he's not happy with his life, but he's trying to remain optimistic. And he's just I think that movie is so criminally underrated and underseen. And I see Steve Coogan things and constantly get disappointed, not because he's not good in what he does, but because I'm like, Hamlet 2 should have made you like a household. Like that, to me, it's so funny and your performance is so great. So number 6, Steve Coogan, Hamlet 2.
Mm-hmm.
My 6th favorite performance of all time. Very high.
Yeah.
Number 5, and this was a tough one because the next 3 I sort of had to put in order and I wasn't sure how to put them in order.
Okay.
Number 5, Jeff Daniels, Dumb and Dumber.
I knew there was a dumb. I wasn't sure if it was going to be
Jim Carrey
or him.
No, and it's Jeff Daniels, and the reason is here's a guy with some experience in mostly drama.
Yeah,
mostly drama, and he's co-starring with Jim Carrey, who is,
ascending.
80s Eddie Murphy, 90s Jim Carrey.
Yes.
That's the level we're talking about in terms of dominating popular comedy.
Yeah.
He's going at Jim Carrey like MVP season Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
And at best for Jim Carrey, it's a draw.
Yeah. I agree.
And to me, that's insane.
Yeah.
For Jeff Daniels to that's like if somebody was like, I'm a 9-year vet in the NFL.
Yeah.
Okay. I've made 2 all-star teams. I'm a very solid pro, respected pro in what I do. But I've decided I'm going to play hockey this year and I'm going to win co-MVP of the league with Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah. I know.
What?
I know. It's hard to imagine that movie without either of those guys. And it really does go to show how good of an actor Jeff Daniels is.
Yes.
He just fucking hangs in there, man. And it's just like they make each other better. The whole movie.
Because that's the question is not, will Jim Carrey in 1994 be funny and willing to go there?
Yeah.
Of course. But Jeff Daniels, and I hate to say this because I love Jim Carrey and he shows up on the list soon.
I know. All right. So that one's going to get ticked off my list.
Jeff Daniels, to me, I want to say the 3 funniest moments in the movie for me. Snowball fight.
Great. Yeah.
Taking a shit.
Yes.
Which is not.
I was literally going to bring that up. He gets all the physical stuff in the movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he does, like, if you told me, comedy snob, oh, there's a really funny shitting on the toilet scene.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Like
it's so
the
good.
look
It's
on his
so
face.
good. I know.
The,
It's so ridiculous.
the fact he goes to an 11.
Yeah.
It's almost like he knows lots of shit jokes get
Yeah.
made.
Yeah.
I need mine to stand out.
Yeah.
You know what I like about Harry? He's a regular guy.
Yeah.
1/4 teaspoon for fast, effective relief. Boop. Bloop, 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 bloop. Oh my God.
Dude, he's also got my favorite part of the movie, which is when they're in the diner with Seabass.
Yeah.
When the guy comes over, he goes, "You gonna eat that?" I was thinking about it. He goes, "Crossed my mind."
He in Dumb and Dumber, like, and then there's little things like, we don't need a radio. Ready, Harry? Ready?
Yeah.
Mock.
Yeah.
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 But if you look at Jeff Daniels' face during that,
Yeah, it's so good.
and that's why I always say, to be a good comedian, shame can't enter the equation.
Yeah.
Because you're not there you perform to whatever your
Yes.
standards are, but this is beneath me. Well, then it will look like it's beneath you.
Yeah.
But if you, but Jeff Daniels in Dumb and Dumber is just, it's almost like they're tied. But the fact is, Jim Carrey gave you exactly what you thought 90s Jim Carrey would give you.
Yeah.
But Jeff Daniels, it was like, that's insane.
Yeah.
How great. Just give me the damn number.
Yeah.
555. So good. And now, number 4. You probably know what movie, and you know who I'm talking about. Jim Carrey,
Cable guy.
the cable
Yeah.
guy.
Okay. So that can go off my list.
Yes. Jim Carrey, the cable guy. In a career of comedic greatness, I feel like as a performance, it is his best.
That's probably true. Yeah.
In terms of going for a character and then making it funny. And then the tiebreaker here for me is the karaoke scene.
Yeah, it's great.
And I remember,
karaoke's great. For me, it's it's Medieval Times.
Medieval Times.
Yeah.
They will kill us both.
It's so fucking funny. Yeah. It's so funny. And Broderick's so good against him.
Yes.
Yeah.
And yes, and I actually, in my mind, thinking about the cable guy, I was like, I do love Matthew Broderick in this movie.
He's so good in it. Yeah.
But Jim Carrey, it's, and I hate the fact that it was like too dark for people. That's a movie that I think they should absolutely, I tweeted at Ben Stiller, who directed it.
Yeah.
And I said, why not do a remake? Oh, I think I discussed this with you on the show.
Oh, yeah.
A sequel, like the internet guy. And it's almost like he's the good guy now, like trying to warn some young tech guy who's obsessed with the internet.
Yeah. Because
it's a very prescient movie. Like TV didn't occupy us the way that movie said it did, but the internet and cell phones do.
Yeah.
I feel like bringing an older Jim Carrey back, still in character, but almost like I've been there, brother.
Yeah.
You got to put the phone down. Yeah. And then some younger actor stepping into like the villain role.
Yeah.
But the cable guy, Jim Carrey, that karaoke scene, when I saw the behind the scenes, when they used to show those on like HBO.
Yeah.
And I think it was Ben Stiller, or Broderick, who was just like, it was like he was possessed.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so good.
Yeah.
So good. So now we're down to 3. 2 comedies and a drama.
Okay.
Number 3 has probably been mentioned on this show. It's the only performance that's been mentioned on this show more than Steve Coogan. I'll give you a hint, but it's not this performance. Sort of in Earth's Mightiest Superhero.
Okay. RDJ in
Tropic
Thunder. Right.
Robert Downey Jr., Tropic Thunder. And the only question I had while making this list was, is Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder the greatest performance of all time? Or is it just one of the greatest performances of all time? And I put it at 3, and which is tough for me because I was thrilled that Heath Ledger won for The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
But the more I see Robert Downey Jr. as Cyrus, that's the character, but I already forgot. I'm a dude playing a dude inside of another dude. It is one of the greatest performances of all time. All jokes aside, like he would make the list if I were just doing my 20 best performances of all time. But he is number 3 on my favorite. It's just too good.
Wouldn't see it today. It is,
and the sad thing is we wouldn't see it today because people are dumb.
Yeah.
Like, in other words, there is nothing wrong with this performance.
Right. Agreed.
But you have to just kind of, it's like it's like reading the headline of a story. If you read the headline, Robert Downey Jr. in blackface, no, don't want to hear any more.
Yeah.
Any deeper, you're like, oh, it's fine.
Right.
But yeah, number 3, Robert Downey Jr. Congratulations, Robert Downey Jr. Probably the biggest honor he's ever received.
I bet.
Number 2, Denzel Washington, Malcolm X.
Okay. So that means my list is going to have some hitters on it.
Oh boy, and I got to wrap this up because I got U.S. Open tickets. Don't want the lady being too upset. It is my favorite Denzel Washington performance. It is one of my favorite performances of all time. Al Pacino won for Scent of a Woman because he hadn't won before, which I understand. But Malcolm X, to me, when they do the obituary many years from now, of course, hopefully, of Denzel Washington, there'll be the second biggest picture will probably be Training Day because he won his first Best Actor for that.
Yeah.
The biggest picture to me will be him as Malcolm X, I think, because regardless he was nominated for it, I think it's ridiculous that he didn't win. Mm-hmm. It's obviously Denzel Washington is one of our great actors of all time, but to me it's him at his best. Yeah. I know he does good work, but because he is sort of at a Jack Nicholson level now where he can kind of be like, I'm Denzel Washington. I'm just going to give you a great,
which is what I think he did in that new Gladiator movie.
Right. You're going to get, you know,
guy
what
from
I
New
do.
York as an emperor of Rome.
You know what I do. You like what I do. I'm good at what I do.
Yeah.
But Malcolm X was like, he played a wide range of ages, a wide range of moves. It's the classic. If Hollywood didn't hate Spike Lee at the time and wasn't blatantly like blackballing him, that's a 10 nomination movie. Denzel wins Best Actor. It's a classic, amazing Hollywood biopic. Mm-hmm. And he's awesome. So that's number 2. Number 1, people, unless you really know me, will probably go, huh? No, really? But this was easy for me. This is saying something. Really? This was an easy choice for me. One of my favorite movies of all time is a little movie called School of Rock.
No way.
And my favorite performance of all time is Jack Black in
School of Rock.
Yes.
That was not on my list.
It is. I was doing some of the lines. I had that movie almost memorized at a point. I'm talking like hour and 50 minutes.
You like it that much?
It is why Jack Black is one of my favorite people, like comic actors, because that movie and Mike White, who wrote it, wrote The White Lotus. I remember him saying he wrote this part for Jack Black. Like, so that is, I think, why it is like a hand in glove performance.
Right.
There are so many things. Me and Laura were cracking up last night because one of the few ways I can get her to really laugh is when I do Jack Black. They cut to him he's trying to ingratiate himself to all the teachers because he's faking that he's a teacher. And he goes, so I nail the audition. But guess who gets the part? Yo-Yo Ma's cousin, Little Nepotiz.
Yes.
Yes. It's things like that. Like
Little Nepotiz.
Like, it's every fucking minute he's on screen in that movie. Yeah. I love him doing the music. When he's learned that his kids can play instruments. Yeah. And then he comes in and he has Lawrence playing the doors. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Come on. Now touch me, babe. Ba-da-ba-da. Can't you see that I am not afraid? Yeah. Ba-da-ba-da. Lawrence is good at piano. He shall be rocking in my show. Ba-da-ba. Stop. We'll be rocking in my show. Stop. What was that you were playing? The cello? Cello, turn it on its side. You got a bass.
Yeah. Cello.
Oh God.
It is a fun movie. Yeah, I like it.
It's a movie. I literally, and I know some people are like, not what about this? I am telling you, the single most joyful experience of a performance for me is Jack Black in School of Rock. Every minute. Read between the lines, Theo. Read between the lines.
Okay, so do you want your omissions now?
So, but Jack Black, there is nobody who will take that place. But yes, tell me who you think I missed or who you believe I really did miss.
These are like honorable mentions on this. I wasn't positive about these, but I thought they were possible.
Okay.
Matthew Broderick, Ferris Bueller.
No.
Okay.
I've just never been like that. Just
not care.
Okay. Like a thing for me.
Steve Carell, 40-Year-Old Virgin.
No.
Okay. Will Ferrell and Step Brothers.
I did go on Step Brothers, and actually, I think they canceled each other out in my mind.
Okay.
Because I do love that movie. I'll tell you who, in a JL kind of way, could have gotten it from Step Brothers. Adam Scott.
Okay, sure.
Because I want him to play a villain again.
Sort of his breakout role.
But then he just went to like, I will be the straight man now forever. But in that movie, the Sweet Child of Mine scene is phenomenal.
Flat.
Yeah.
So flat.
This is so flat. I'm going to have to save it with the solo. I'm Derek, and I can sing high like that. And he's like,
also, she's great in that movie, too. I forget her. What the hell's her name?
She's in a lot of stuff. She works a lot.
She's excellent in that movie,
but
though.
He, like, and then when she's just had sex with John C. Reilly and he honks the horn, he goes, babe, we got to go. Dane Cook, pay-per-view, 20 minutes. For me, it is a little bit about the money.
Yeah. All right. Next one, John C. Reilly, Dewey Cox.
That's a good honorable mention because I do love Dewey Cox.
Okay.
But I feel like I kind of also just love that movie.
Yeah.
Not, like, I don't know that it's just him.
Yeah. I did have Robin Williams on here, just no
like
role.
For any, and Dead Poet Society, Aladdin, and Birdcage all came up as possibilities.
Well, and then I had Hackman, Birdcage, obviously.
And that was, let's be honest, that was bordering on an omission.
Yeah. And all right, so there's one movie that I think we've talked about, and I wasn't sure if you had a performance from it, but I had picked Joe Pesci from JFK.
No, but that's funny.
And then the obvious one.
What about Kevin Bacon from JFK?
Or anybody? I kind of had. It was more the movie.
Nobody to been fucking ass.
And then the obvious one to me, Robert Shaw. That one was a no-brainer. Where I was just like, well, he missed one.
Well, I'll tell you why no. Of course, I love that movie.
Yeah.
I like that performance. It's a very gritty, grimy performance.
Yeah.
But I should say, just because I compare myself to him doesn't mean it sounds like I'm naysaying the performance. No, it's great. But as far as like when I watch Jaws, it's still for the movie.
Yeah.
Okay. But Jack Black, congratulations, Jack Black. And he did like an Instagram post of mine last year also.
Cool.
And this had nothing to do with that. But that's it, everybody. It's a unique episode. It's an evergreen one. It's a break.
Holiday episode.
It's a JL's on the road and you get a little change of pace. So this should get a lot of comments. This is the kind of thing. Lists get lots of comments.
Lists are great.
So I gave you my gigs. I gave you everything. I got to run to the U.S. Open. 2 weeks ago, I got to go to the U.S. Open. But thanks for listening. I think everybody knows what to do. We can get out of here.
Yeah,
like,
the comments are going to be lighting
leave
up.
Comments. Yeah. Tell a friend. But get in the debate. We'll debate what you thought of my choices. And please, Erica Eleniak and Joyce Heiser, don't ignore the women on this list. Okay? This is a pro-women space. So be sure you watch those two movies first. Okay, that's it, everybody. Have a great week. We will see you next Thursday.